Arthur Morgan never left for himself. Arthur had more than one opportunity to leave the gang, run away with Mary, start a family, and live a decent life. But every single time, he returned to the camp. Even after all the pain and suffering he experienced within the gang, he still chose to stay with them. But why? Why he kept stealing and kept donating just to make the camp a better place? Is it possible that Arthur didn't want to start a family? Well, almost every conversation between Arthur and Mary showed the complete opposite. Arthur truly wanted to leave the gang and start a new life with Mary, and she kept begging him to walk away and finally start over together.
Run away right now and don't look back.
I want to. More than anything I want to. But I've got some people I need to take care of.
So, if Arthur wanted to leave, what was really keeping him there? Arthur actually tried to build a family once before when he was with a waitress named Aleza, and they had a son together called Isaac. We know this information during chapter 6 in the game as Arthur rides with Rainsfall and tells him that. This means Arthur truly wanted to live a peaceful life as a father, but what happened made him afraid to try again, and maybe this is the reason Arthur was afraid to leave with Mary. His son Isaac was killed by bandits for a ridiculous amount of money, only $10. That was the price of Arthur's dream. And after that, I believe Arthur started holding on to the camp more than ever. Because of this, he believed in the camp stronger than before. Inside the camp, if one person fell, everyone moved. And we saw this during the mission Blood Feuds Ancient and Modern, when John Marston's son, Jack, gets kidnapped and the entire gang decides to attack the Braithwaite Manor just to bring him back. One of the most iconic missions in Red Dead Redemption 2. It shows that the camp is side by side to everyone in it. And perhaps the only person who planted this belief inside Arthur was the charismatic leader himself.
I prefer robbing banks to usury. Seems more dignified somehow. I might have an idea. Hosea's handling reconnaissance on the bank, planning to meet. Australia or Tahiti will disappear. Where the hell is Tahiti? Now we need money. Making money. The more money, but we need money. Goddamn time, one of you.
Dutch van der Linde. The man who convinced everyone in the camp of one idea, a feeling of belonging. And that a better future required planning and money. Well, actually, a lot of money. Arthur lived by this principle for more than 20 years, and he believed in this principle for two reasons. The first reason was because everything that happened to Arthur made it easy for him to believe in Dutch principle. Because Arthur knew what it felt like to experience loss and to be completely alone. And that brings a question to my mind actually. Why didn't Arthur bring his son Isaac to the camp before he was killed? We will come back to this question after I mention the second reason. And the second reason is because Arthur saw Dutch as the father he never had. Not only because Arthur was an orphan, but because Dutch was the person who taught Arthur when he was only 14. He taught him how to hunt, how to read and write, and the basic skills needed to survive in the Old West. Arthur saw Dutch as more than just the leader of the gang, and because of that, he believed that every choice Dutch made was the right one. But when it comes to Isaac, why didn't Arthur bring him back to the camp? The game doesn't give us a direct answer. Well, actually it didn't told us anything about Isaac besides the optional dialogue with Rainsfall. But here is what I think. The camp was simply not a suitable place for a child. Yes, the gang would be there to protect him, but the chance of an attack happening at the camp was much higher than living somewhere far away, somewhere peaceful and normal. But then, why was Jack living in the camp? I know this question probably crossed your mind, and the answer is because Jack was born inside the gang, and that changes everything. Jack never had a life outside the gang. And this is what I was able to understand from the game's timeline. But let's return to the bigger question. Was Dutch the real reason Arthur stayed with the gang? Well, the truth is not only Dutch. See, because throughout the years many people became part of this camp, and Arthur formed emotional connections with some of them. One of them was John Marston. Arthur saw John as the last chance for at least one person to achieve the dream he failed to achieve himself. Arthur lost Isaac, lost Mary, but he refused to let John lose Abigail and Jack. That is why whenever he could, he tried to push John to leave, as we saw in the mission Bridge to Nowhere.
You need cash. You need to start building a life for yourself. Me? I need a vacation.
What made Arthur start focusing more on changing the lives of people around him was something that most Red Dead players tried not to believe.
Mister, are you okay?
What is it?
It's not good news.
I guess that.
You got tuberculosis. Really sorry for you, son. It's a hell of a thing.
Arthur's inevitable death. Trust me, I was close to tears when I found out. The TB he got from a poor man called Thomas Downs, a man Arthur was collecting money from for the camp. And because of this disease, Arthur realized that death was only a matter of time. And here, everything changed. For the first time in 20 years, Arthur stopped asking, how do I save the gang? And instead, he started asking, does the gang even deserve all these sacrifices that happened inside of it? Arthur began to see that everything he was doing was not bringing them closer to the life Dutch promised them. Every robbery, every plan was pushing them further away from it. Many of his friends inside the camp were gone. Hosea, Lenny, Karen, John was abandoned and left behind. And Dutch started listening to Micah more than anyone else. And Arthur finally started to see that the camp he sacrificed his life for was no longer there. Arthur never lived for himself, because he believed that sacrificing his own life was the only way for someone else to have a better one. At first, he was sacrificing himself for Dutch's dream, and for everyone in the camp, but in the end he was sacrificing himself for John's dream. And I believe if Arthur was given the chance to go back in time, he would probably make the same choices all over again. Not because he was blind, but because this was the redemption he was searching for. Maybe Arthur never got the range, or got married, or got the peaceful life he always dreamt of, but Arthur made sure that John and Jack did.